Hi, this is Stacy from Home Embrace. This is my autumn kitchen decorate with me.
Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Stacy. I'm glad you're here. Today we are doing fall decorating in my kitchen, and I am going to be doing a ton of fall decorating, more than I ever have before in my kitchen. So if you love fall as much as I do, stay tuned for today's video. And I am going to be bringing a lot of these beautiful fall colors you see here in my arm, these gorgeous mum. I want to bring in yellow and some orange and browns, see about bringing all that together with a bit of sunflower also, and see what we can come up with. And so if you love fall, just continue watching this video. I would so appreciate it, and consider giving a like and subscribe, and any comment is appreciated as always, and I hope you enjoy.
Starting at the table, I use this thrifted scarf for my runner, and I am wanting a very rustic touch to this table, so I made this sunflower arrangement, and I'm going to put as much texture and moody colors on this table as possible. So I'm using these placemats because they have the wonderful texture that I'm looking for. I have the plates from last year. I'm going to place those down now, and they have the warm colors with the pumpkin and the brown tones, so it goes very well with my tablecloth underneath. But I'm going to punch it up a little bit and use these gold plates over top. At Michael's, I ended up getting this fall mug. And I want to mix up my patterns on the table, and I'm using these buffalo check napkins. I love the black and white check, and I'm just tying them with some raffia. And I'm going to add in a cute little green pumpkin on the plates. So I was trying to think of what to do on the table in the middle here, and I came up with, I think apples would look really, really cute on this tablescape. So I'm going to go ahead and put a few real apples in this little apple basket I have here. And I put the little check fabric in there just to give it that little accent I'm looking for to go with the napkins. I'm going to add a little bit of the moss just to give it that rustic touch. And now this is the bigger part where I'm going to start adding in some pumpkins and a display at the bottom of the table underneath the sunflowers. So you're going to see me do that now, and this is kind of just winging it and seeing what we can come up with. I always put my picks down first underneath my pumpkins to kind of make it look like the pumpkins are laying in a bunch of leaves. And I want to bring in a lot of greenery to this tablescape, and a lot of those deep, rich oranges and greens and burgundies to make it that really rich tone that I'm looking for this table. You're going to see me playing a lot, moving things back and forth, and just kind of playing with it to see what I like and what I don't like. And if I don't like it, I just kind of move it around until I get a look that I'm happy with. I'm going to add some acorns and some pine cones for some texture. And I always like to add a few berries in everything I'm doing too. I just think it gives it that really cute touch with the fall look. In creating more warmth and texture for this tablescape, I'm using this wood cutting board, and I'm going to place some maple syrup on the table in a mason jar, and I just tied a little accent bow around it just to give it that special little touch of I just like that plaid look on the table. And using the Michael's skillet that I got this year, and just some simple orange slices, and I'm just going to put a lifter, and I think that's just the perfect thing for this corner. wanting to bring in more black and white to this table, just adding to that rustic touch. And I'm just going to fold a napkin for this pie plate. And I have this beautiful pie. I did not make this, but I bought it. And it's apple pie and it looks so delicious. I'm going to add this to the tablescape because I just love the look of fresh pie on the table for fall. I love this look, and it's just cozy, warm, brings that really nice cozy vibe to the table. And more rustic touches. I'm just going to bring in some spoons in just a tiny little bucket. Nothing big. I'm just going to stick moss in and make a little more of an arrangement here with a little tiny bit of greenery. Just the tiniest, cutest pumpkin you can find here. So tiny. I love making all these DIYs, guys. Like, this is where I find this is my wheelhouse, I guess. I just love it so much. I get so much joy in creation and creating anything like this. Just even the littlest, simplest touches. And speaking of creating, I wanted to put some bows on the sides of my table. I just got this idea to do this year, and adding in more of that, I call it a warm cinnamon color, the tablecloth. So I don't know what you would call it, but I decided to do these bows just to bring in more of that color. And I thought they turned out so cute, and I love the accent of the bows on the sides of the table. Bringing in more warmth and texture, I'm going to add this throw onto my chair. I don't mind mixing patterns, but this goes really well with what my tablescape is, so I added that pillow in and just a simple sun hat. Here's the table all put together. This table I'm starting on now sits behind my kitchen table in the corner, so I don't want to add too much because my table is quite busy as it is. So I'm keeping it simple. I'm just adding in a mum and some books. The books are for height, and I'm going to add in a scarf just for some extra color, just to bring in some warmth to the table. And I'm going to do just a few books on the side leaning here. That cute ribbon I used on the table, I brought to this book because I wanted to keep the same tones from the table going back here. Now heading to the opposite side of the kitchen, I am going to be hanging one more picture. Now heading to the opposite wall, I am hanging a picture that I thrifted last summer that goes perfectly this fall for my rustic look. And this is a tricky situation for me, guys. I never know what to put on this freezer, but I do need something because my table is right in front of it. So this is always a tricky situation for decorating for me. So this year I decided just to go to the Dollar Tree. I found this really cute cutting board, and I have these little pieces of fabric. You'll see me, I use them in the front just for added touch of color. And the dollar store had just a bunch of rolling pins, so I just grabbed a couple of those just to keep in a bundle. And I had the really cute fabric pumpkins, and I thought this green would go so nicely with the picture above. Now we're heading over to the island, do some decorating. I'm going to put this runner on with all the beautiful tones that I used at the table. And now you can see the sun's peeking through. It's that time of day. And we're going to do some more DIY right here with adding in this basket for some texture. I'm going to go and add in some greenery to this DIY. I always think it's very important, especially for fall, to add a lot of greens. I love that look, and I'm just going to use that as my base, and I'm going to layer on top of that. I have an idea to put a lantern on here. So the lantern wasn't tall enough for what I wanted, so I ended up propping it up with plates. It's going to be covered up anyway, so that's okay. And you're going to see me just kind of fussing here, and I'm going to add in some pumpkins on the side. I'm going to use this really cute yellow pumpkin. I think this was really cute to add because it brings in more of those tones that I'm looking for. And I just use the simple leaves from the dollar store. And bringing in, again, more texture. I always like to use the pine cones and the acorns. That gives you that nice warm texture. Adding in more pine cones for texture, and I'm going to add one sunflower here on the side because I do have the sunflowers on the table. So I did do one here on the side. I thought that looked cute, and I added one at the back also. I know you probably don't see it from here, but just basically adding in more fall leaves and pine cones. Tucking in more pine cones. I'm going to be adding a few acorns in the front here too. And I always like to add a few berries and my moss to these kind of arrangements. I think it's just like a little finishing touch. I needed to add in something to the side of the island. I wasn't sure what to do, so I am using this as my riser, and I'm going to put just a little tiny greenery wreath at the bottom. I'm going to add in more greenery with this cute pumpkin. I'm going to keep going around, adding more greenery. I kind of want like a spilling over effect to this display. I just added in a few leaves, just a couple, and some berries in the front. And now I'm going to add in this vintage wicker horn. I think this is so adorable, and it just definitely reminds me of fall and harvest time. So I decided to put in some grapes, some real grapes. I thought this was just a perfect touch for this, spilling out of the horn and a little touch of greenery. And I think this looks adorable next to the pumpkins. I'm going to add in these copper chargers, which goes so well with the runner I have on the middle of the island. And the plates also complement that charger. And I want to add more buffalo check. So I'm adding in the napkin. That's going to give me that buffalo check that brings in that same color that I did on my kitchen table. And just a simple acorn. And more buffalo check. I have this candle and I love this candle. I had it last year. I decided to reuse it and I think it goes perfectly with the displays I'm doing on this island. Adding in another charger and a plate on the opposite side. I love the way this is coming together, guys. I hope you love it too. Let me know in the comments if you're really liking how this kitchen's coming together. I'm so happy with how everything's turning out. I thrifted this cake plate and I'm just going to add in some cinnamon rolls. You cannot go wrong in fall with having cinnamon rolls. That is like a staple to me for fall. Every time I think about fall and yummy foods, I think of cinnamon rolls. Oh my gosh, how yummy does that look? A wonderful family member I know crocheted these gorgeous sunflower coasters, and that's going to be the final touch I'm adding to this island. In a second, you guys are going to see the whole island reveal. Heading over to my upper cabinets, I'm going to add in some greenery in just a basket, and I'm going to add in more of that rustic touch with some metal and adding in more of that burgundy, that deep burgundy. The cabinets are so light, I want to balance it out with some deeper shades. So you're going to see me add in the burgundies and some red and the green. Just going to add in the vintage tin at the back just for height. I have this cute candle that I thrifted last fall, and I think that goes perfectly with this display. Now we're heading on to the counter and going to be doing another DIY. So I have the apple basket. I'm going to use that and tip it sideways. And I have this vision of just pumpkins spilling out of this basket. So I'm going to try to create that right now. I've never done this look before, but we're going to give it a go and see how it turns out. I'm going for a very fall harvesty look on this back counter, so I'm going to be adding in as much of the fall tones as I can. So I'm going to add in one green pumpkin, and we're just going to have to keep playing around with this because it's going to be probably a lot of fidgeting going on here and just making sure I get this right. I'm using these tall branches as my greenery. I'm going to add in more pumpkins, and now I'm going to add in some berries for the top. This one is a little bit fussy. It was kind of falling apart on me and I had to keep fixing it, but we're surviving. I'm going to persevere here and get this done. adding in more fall leaves. Now this is starting to actually look like something to me. It's starting to look like harvest time for me. I wanted to add in some more greenery also to this display, so I'm just kind of putting it over the apple basket. I thought this Farm Fresh sign would go perfectly on this back wall, so I'm just going to hang that here and now. And I like that it has that touch of black that really draws your eye to the back wall. When I was at Michael's this year, I found this really cute canister set, so I'm going to use that in the corner by my stove. And I love adding this truck in, the rustic touch of this truck. Just love the color that this brings to the back counter. And I'm just going to keep it simple, adding some pine cones and one little tiny pumpkin. On my stove, I'm just going to add in a riser from the Dollar Tree, and I found this pumpkin pecan waffles candle at Bath & Body Works this year, and I lit it the other day. Oh my gosh, this smells so good, guys. I'm gonna light it again today. I love the smell of this one. I don't think you can have too many baked goods during the fall season, so I'm gonna add in my copper charger, and I'm going to add in another yummy pie on the stove. I love the way the pie looks sitting on the stove. Now on this counter, I tied a few brown bows to my canisters, as you can already see. And I'm just going to add a little color in the background with that tray. And this copper charger again, bring in more copper. I got this cute little tea kettle from Amazon this year, and I'm going to add this to my display. And again, more yummy tarts. These are pumpkin tarts, guys, and I thought this would look so cute on this tray. I'm going to set it up like a little tea display with some goodies. And I'm just going to add a napkin on the counter, and one of the mugs I already had at home, I'm going to add that too. This corner, I decided to add in some vintage suitcases that I had to cover the outlet, and just popping on some books on top. And I already had this set of books with some twine around. I'm going to add that to the top, and this cute pumpkin. And trying to think of what else I could do to spruce it up, I added some greenery. I'm just bringing in the final fall touches to this kitchen on this bench today, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Please consider giving a like and subscribe. I have another fall video coming your way very soon. So I just want to say thank you so much. Toodaloo, and I'll see you next time.